How was your morning pulse doing? Was it smooth? Or was it terrible? Or maybe you are still struggling to farm for more asteroids so that you could finally bring her home? Well, I wish you good luck with it. For those of you who have already brought back home this professor, today I will present to you some of Mornye builds. This include a discussion about her kit explanation, some echoes and weapons that works for her best teams, her best resonance chain, and the answer to a question like, should I pull her RC1 or her signature weapon? I hope this video can be helpful to all of you, but before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe button. Now if you have done that, let's build our Mornye right away. Mornye has a forte bar called Rest Mass Energy with a maximum of 100 points. You can fill this forte to full simply by using basic attacks, her resonance skill, or dodge counters. Once the forte reaches its maximum, you can activate it by pressing the heavy attack button. Mornye will then enter observation mode and create a symphony field that lasts for 25 seconds. This field provides healing to your entire team for every 3 seconds, grants a 50% increase to all resonators of Toon build upgrade, and also increases their resistance to interruption. While in observation mode, Mornye will have a new forte, which has also 100 points, and you can fill them by using her basic attacks as well as resonance skill. Once it's full, you can activate it by holding the basic attack button to let her deliver a special beam to increase the enemy's damage taken by the amount of energy regen that Mornye has, which has maximum vulnerability up to 40% and lasts for 8 seconds, with a condition that enemy must already be inflicted with Toon Rupture or Shifting. Don't worry, this debuff will be carried over to the newly respawned enemies once you defeat the previous waves, so you don't need to fill her special forte again. But it seems like this debuff has no indication shown in the enemy's health bar to show that it's active, or at least marked like what Chisa has. And what makes me worry is that at first rotation, I think it's almost impossible to get this 40% increased damage since Linnaea has not yet inflict any Toon Shifting to enemies. So I guess it's safe to assume that Mornye's buff will be fully unlocked when she performs the second rotation. Mornye also capable of delivering a nuke damage through her liberation, since for every point of her energy regen will increase her ultimate crit rate and crit damage, with the maximum amount of 80% and 160% respectively. Once she activates this ult, Symphony Field will be enhanced to give more heals, as well as increasing your team's defense by 20%. Don't forget, Mornye also have a fun kit for those of you who excels at parrying enemies' attacks. Using her resonance skill in the right time will decrease her damage taken, as well as casting a follow-up attack that can stagnate enemies. Her inherent skill also helps her to make your whole team somehow immortal, since she will decrease your team's damage taken, as well as give them a chance to revive once they receive a final blow. She also somehow becomes more concerto efficient, since casting intro skill as well as basic attack stage 3 in observation mode will restore 20 concerto energy each. Intro skill will let her immediately to cast Symphony Field to make your rotation smoother. And don't forget, her outro skill can give 25% damage amplification to all your teams. For your information, she offers the highest damage amp if being compared to other sustain that exist in the game. Like Linnaea, Mornye can also respond to both Toon Rupture and Strain Interviewed. If she responds to Toon Rupture, every time her allies deal Toon Break damage when the enemy inflicted with Toon Rupture, Mornye will also deal damage. But if she responds to Toon Strain Interviewed, each stack of Strain will increase Mornye's personal damage. Each point of Toon Break boost will increase her total damage by 0.12%. And if she is in the team, the max number of Toon Strain will increase by 1. Since what we want from Mornye is her ability to increase enemies' damage taken, her nuke damage from liberation, as well as consistent healing while being off-field, then you should prioritize leveling up her liberation first, since her biggest damage is from her ultimate ability, that scales based on defense. And then for consistent healing, her forte circuit should be the second priority, followed by her skill, basic attack, then intro. As for her 40% vulnerability, she will rely on her own energy stats. To maximize this, you will give her 26 energy regen, and this is technically possible and doable if you are using Discord as the weapon, energy on both cost 3, and energy regen substat for every cost echo. You don't need to worry about her crit. If you can give her 260 energy, then you will be granted 80% crit rate and 160% crit damage for her liberation alone. For her first RC, the duration of her vulnerability will be increased by 150%, which now lasts for 20 seconds. The best part is, she's no longer chained and tied to Linnaea's presence in the battlefield to be at her peak performance, as the interfered marker can now active on its own, without relying on any Toon shiftings. Her second one can give all team members who attack the enemy with interfered marker a crit damage boost, up to 32% based on her energy regen. And she also offers your team additional 20% of toon level build-up rate, allowing toon break to be triggered more frequently. RC3 let Morny to gain additional concerto energy as well as more special forte when she casts her skill. This is potentially to make her rotation even smoother, but I don't think it's pretty necessary at this point. RC4 is just for more heals from her Symphony field, and then RC5 will increase Morny's Resonance Liberation damage multiplier by 40%, as well as her Toon Rupture response damage multiplier by 160%. And finally, her last RC, it will increase Morny's Resonance Liberation damage by 400%. When not in combat over 4 seconds, she will keep restore her Resonance energy. So I guess her best Resonance chain is in her first one, as she will no longer need Linnae to reach Morny's full potential and can now be more universal without losing any of her value in some team composition. Finally, a healer and a sustain that use Broadblade arrives. My variationless account can finally breathe. When it comes to Morny's best weapon, the best 5-star option is her own signature. It offers a huge 77% energy regen as the main stat, which Morny desperately needs. And then it also gives defense boosts. On top of that, it also offers her additional 8 concerto regen every time she uses liberation that can only be triggered for every 20 seconds, which is a fine condition since it's more than enough for one rotation. What's good is that it also will give your team a consistent 20% crit damage boost every time she heals. This can be easily activated since the healing from Morny's Symphony field procs every 3 seconds. As long as the field exists, so does the crit damage buff. But what about other 5-star options? Well, if you don't want to pull for her signature, it's fine. Maybe a weapon like Lustrous Razor can also work, since its passive offers 12% energy regen, and this Broadblade basically enhances character power that relies on liberation damage. Just what Morny will do in the team to help contribute to the team's overall damage output. Also, this might not be the most effective, but Lupa's signature can technically work. It has crit damage, and the passive will increase Morny's liberation, just in case you want to somehow highlight her ultimate damage in the team. But we have the best 4-star, don't worry, it's the variation version of the Broadblade. Discord will not only offers energy regen as the main stat to Morny, but the passive also grants you a huge amount of concerto energy. With this weapon, combined with one of her inherent skills, Morny's rotation can somehow be faster. Maybe it's possible to even do a double intro with your main DPS. Well, I guess if you have Discord, this is probably the best option other than any weapon in the game. But the downside is that this is only obtainable from gacha. Maybe not all players will have this in their account. So, is it better to pull for her signature or take her first Resonance chain? As we have discussed earlier, Morny's full potential is locked behind Linnae, but her first Resonance chain somehow negates that restriction. If you have Linnae already in your account, I think it's already safe and also wise to just pull the character alone. No signature, no Resonance chain. Why? Only by using a 4-star weapon, which is Discord, it's more than enough. In fact, she can be on par with Shorekeeper if she has Linnae in the team. But what if you don't have Discord? Since this weapon is basically not free and available only through gacha, if you have more funds, then it is recommended to pull for her signature. But if the situation is reversed, you have Discord and Morny but don't have Linnae, then I highly recommend you to pull for her first Resonance chain. The situation can be different for all accounts, but in general, I think her first Resonance chain holds more value than her own weapon. So now it's the time to determine and make a preparation for her echo sets. Which one is the best? The answer is simply the new Halo of Starry Radiance set. The 2-piece effect can increase the wearer's healing bonus, while the full sets will grant additional attack to all your resonators in the team, based on the amount of off-toon build-up rate Morny has. For each point, your team will gain 0.2% attack increase, and since all resonators in the game has a default of 100%, this way your team already gain a 20% attack, and that's actually pretty good. As for other options like Rejuvenating Glow, I think it also suits well with Morny, the fact that there's a small difference between the two, so I guess if you are still struggling to farm for a new set, I think it's also wise to give her the Rejuvenating set. If you are using the Halo of Starry Radiance, don't forget to use the Reactor Husk as your cost 4 or the main active echo. This will give Morny additional 10% energy regen. And as we look into other echoes, there is not much a better option other than Reactor Husk to be slotted in as the active echo. For stat priorities, you might want to use defense in the cost 4 to increase her heals as well as her damage from her liberation. Both of her cost 3 must be energy regen to maximize the vulnerability she inflicts to enemies, as well as to let her at least contribute a decent damage through her liberation. For both of her cost 1, I think defense should be the most accurate stats to be given. After knowing that all All of her heals and liberation damage scales based on defense. So yeah, that's basically her best in slot echo. Don't pull Morny without knowing which character can synergize very well with her. Well, she can work as your general healer, so technically she fits with everyone, just where Shorekeeper is usually needed. Especially she offers more general damage amplification to your team than Shorekeepers. But since some of her ability is locked behind Linnea, I think one of her best teams will be this girl. With Linnea that currently the only resonator that can inflict Tune Rupture and Strength Shifting, Morny is capable of increasing enemies' damage taken by up to 40%, which ultimately leading to a significant increase to your main DPS damage output. You can pair these ladies with Yuno as your main DPS, who greatly appreciated damage bonus and liberation amplification from Linnea, as well as the 40% vulnerability and another damage amplification from Morny. With Yuno's ability that can also heal, I believe this team will be super immortal later on. Don't forget we still have Xiaoliao and even Chalkaro that can replace Yuno as the main DPS. But with Linnea and Morny in the team, any DPS basically will be doing just fine. Given that Linnea's multiple damage bonus will still make a main carry like Carlotta, Frolova, Jinshi, and even Galbrena do their job very well. Besides using Linnea as a second DPS, you could also try Linnea to be your main damage dealer. Even though this team might be sound expensive, but don't forget, Sanhua can somehow be the neutralizer as she offers a massive basic attack damage amplification as well as only being a 4-star. So yeah, she's going to be a Shorekeeper's greatest competitor, especially if your account has Linnea, since she basically can work for everyone, including our future 3.1 characters, which is Amiet and Luke. Her rotation is quite simple actually. All you need to do is perform basic attack 3 times at the beginning. This way you get her base forte to full. After that, hold heavy attack to enter observation mode while deploying her Symphony Field. She can now attack while in the mid-air. You can press resonance skill, this will fill her new forte almost up to half, and then simply use basic attack several times, followed by activating her echo to gain that additional energy regen until the forte is full. Once it's full, hold heavy attack again to unleash a beam that can increase the enemy's damage taken if they are currently inflicted with tune shifting. After you done that, use resonance liberation right before swap to other characters. There you go, done for her first rotation. The second one will be easier I guess, since once you use her intro skill, she will immediately enter observation mode and cast her Symphony Field. Repeat the process by using resonance skill, basic attack several times, activate her echo, don't forget to hold her heavy attack to cast her laser, then perform her ultimate. Done. Her rotation is surprisingly smooth and easy. Overall, Morny is looking really great. She offers a great sustain, make your team to deal tune break easily and more often, provide the highest damage amplification compared to other sustain, and can increase enemies' damage taken. But in my own honest opinion, her performance can surely match the Shorekeepers, with the condition you have to bring Linnea in the same team as her. Otherwise, Shorekeeper remains the best sustain. This concludes that if your account have none of them, it is recommended to prioritize Shorekeeper first. Then you could save and either pull Morny together with Linnea or invest in her RC1. So that's it for Morny's build video. I hope this content can be helpful to some of you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on notification as well so you won't miss out on any of my future Wuthering Waves content. I will see you guys on my next one. Bye bye!